Hey guys, welcome back. Episode 2 of the Light Bulb. Today we have Dawson Carson. He's goes my school's in my grade. What's up, Dawson?
What's up, man?
Just want to give a round of applause to Dawson. We actually recorded an episode earlier today on NFL, but the audio got scuffed and we had to redo. Dawson's on Instagram. His Instagram is THA_BOIDC. He didn't know I was gonna do that, so if you want to go give him a follow, appreciate it. How you doing?
Yeah, good, man. Living life.
You ready? We just kind of threw it together. It's 1 in the morning, actually, 1 a.m. And we're just gonna wing it. We're gonna talk about school today. A lot of anybody watching goes to school. The stats say that, prove it. A lot of y'all are female too. That is something I did not know. More females than males. 70% are females, so cool. There's a formal coming up. We go to White House, and there's a formal coming up the 18th of February. So, you got somebody in mind, Dawson?
At the moment, I really don't, man. You know what I'm saying? Just keep chugging forward. I'll think about it later when it gets close. You know?
I feel that. I just kind of same way with you. You know, I got a couple in mind, but you know, just kind of gotta wait closer to the event date.
I didn't say. I just said I don't know.
Yeah, bro. Gotta wait. Wait it out. Talking about our classes. So, did you like we just first year of high school? You know, first semester. You enjoy it? Like it?
Oh yeah, man. It's new. You know, I got a little more freedom. Do what I feel like more. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Seem easier, more freedom. Like, what about you, man?
I enjoyed it. It's like just like you said, a lot more freedom. They gave us a lot more responsibilities. You know, the eighth grade, you know, motto was, "Well, I'm going to get you ready for high school. This won't slide in high school." But in reality, almost everything slides. I mean, if you're showing up, if you're giving your all every day, they do not care whatsoever.
That's really what it is, man. Giving your effort, man. Our attitude and effort are the two things in life that you truly can't control, man.
That is facts. That is so true. Like a lot of people, you know, maybe you're not talented, maybe you're not, you know, the best at something you do, but if you show up every day and give everything you got, you'll make a difference.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How's your Christmas break been?
A Christmas break, man. It's definitely been something different. You know what I'm saying? Really didn't do a Christmas this year. I went on a trip
Okay.
instead. Right after my trip, came back, got back into basketball practice. You know what I'm saying? Just working hard. You know what I'm saying? Get ready.
Where do you go on the trip?
When I go on the trip, I went to Gatlinburg. I went in a
Oh,
little
okay.
got
Okay.
a cabin. A lot of my family. You know.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, I've been just chilling. This break it's kind of been like a rest for me. You know, when I'm constantly lifting, constantly at school, it's just kind of a nice way to like just sit back and just you know be me, do what I do.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
Speaking of Christmas break, do you think it's like too long, too short, just right? Like, what is it? What do you think?
Like it's, I think it's perfect. You know, I think
Perfect.
like we go through the two quarters, you know what I'm saying? We're halfway through the year. And you know, like between first and second quarter you get a week, kind of a short time, flies
Yeah.
by pretty quick. But like at this point you have Christmas, New Year's, you know what I'm saying? You have a longer break in between these second and third quarter, like halfway through the year. I don't know. I think it's a perfect time. You rest your body up for the next two quarters that you're about to go through. And what about you, man? What you think about it?
I think we need more breaks leading up to Christmas. You know what I mean? Because like, there's like when you start the school year, you don't have any break until Halloween. There's like no break unless I'm mistaken if I'm forgetting something. But there is no break until Halloween, and that's
Mm-hmm.
like a day off maybe, and then from there, that's when like the breaks like they all like combined. So I feel like they need to like they can't control holidays. Like it, what?
Them out, kind of.
Yeah, but I mean they can't control holidays, but like I'm saying they need to give us breaks at the beginning of the year because like you're so focused on just like pushing through, and then like towards the end of that first 9 weeks, just everybody's just done for. They don't want to go home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like I feel like if you have the right teachers, they know what they're doing. So they're like my first quarter, my classes were mostly like pretty easy, laid back. Like we really were chilling. Second quarters, we really started to get something like kind of more serious and actually like put more effort into our classes.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of teachers, so you're new to high school, you know. First impressions are these teachers you get. You didn't get to choose them. Who was your favorite teacher you had and why?
Favorite teacher at the moment, I would say Mr. Gray.
Mr. Guy, what does he teach?
Auto mechanics.
Okay, why?
He can be hard. Like I like teachers that can be hard on you when it comes down to business. But he also has that side of where he's funny. He's not really he's not a biased person, and that's what I'd like in a teacher. Like if I don't like when my teachers are more choosy to one person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I like my teachers are more lenient to the class and always trying to like want everybody to put their best effort instead of like a couple people.
yeah, yeah. We had him as a sub for choir one day, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was an auto teacher. I thought he was like a random guy. Like we all thought he was just like crazy because like how funny he was. Like he just like he has no filter. Like if I would like that's the kind of guy like you go up and like on the side of the street and meet, you know.
Oh yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Like,
Um,
who do you don't like though? Like who's the teacher you don't like?
ah,
I know you're
uh,
about to.
yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about. We both have him. He's our second period teacher. His name's Coach Peters. You know, unfortunately, I'm assuming he's your worst is too, right?
You said what?
Is he your worst too?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he's down.
He was just like really uptight, like not uptight, but like almost where it was his classroom and like our say didn't matter, and the stuff he taught us was like from 12 years ago. We were taking tests from like 2000,
Oh, yeah.
and we asked him about it, and he just like started screaming at us, and he
Yeah, he definitely brushed it off. I think that that really is something that you can see in his. It really brings out like who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you're put in a tough situation. You're given a responsibility that we have. You're right. We have as students, we have a responsibility to study, listen, and take the test. But at the end of the day, if you're not giving us the material to prep for the test that we're about to take, you can't expect us to do our best possible, and you can't expect to call yourself a teacher when you're really not teaching.
exactly. And like he was the type of teacher to kind of instead of like actually teaching, just like throw a packet in your face and tell you to like have fun with it. And it's like
Copy,
what?
just copy and paste.
Exactly. And it's just like if you want there's so many students nowadays dropping out and just like not doing school because so many teachers nowadays are just like they're handing you a packet like they're not giving any effort into it. If you want to change somebody's mind and if you want to actually like get them to want to learn, you have to like affect them. You know what I mean? Just
Oh yeah.
like motivational speakers, like they don't like just sit there and talk about nothing. They attack you almost. Like they get into your brain, get into your heart, and like I feel like there are some teachers nowadays that do that still, and I love them for that. But like he just I don't know. I don't think.
I feel like teachers have lost the way of like actual teaching. Like I understand like we're about to be adults, so yes, I understand there's gonna be more work than there actually is like more fun stuff like that when we were younger. But it's also to an extent to where you still need to grab your students' attention. Like you still need to find ways to get your students to want to be there. Like I literally will walk into a class, bro. Like I'll be having fun the whole day, and then I'll walk into that class, and my whole day just goes south. Like knowing what we're gonna have to go through that class, like it's irritating. Even with friends in my class, it's still an irritating class.
Speaking of you knowing we go through class, do you prefer the teachers that like write what you're doing on the board, or like you just don't know and you're just blind? You know what I
What do
mean?
you mean?
So like some teachers would have like an agenda written down on the board or like on Google Classroom saying what you're doing for that day, and like some teachers walk in and you don't know what you're doing. What like what do you prefer?
Um, it just depends, you know. It depends like during the time, you know, like towards the end of like finals, like when finals are coming around, I liked the more like agenda, like we need to catch up on this, like we need to be here. But I feel like earlier in the year, you can kind of wing it a little bit.
Mhm.
Get to know your students, get to know what they're good at, to know like what you need to touch on the most earlier, and then at the end you kind of like straighten up a little bit and get your students ready for this final test.
Yeah, I feel that. Feel that. Um, so we've gone through a lot of school, freshman and high school. What is your who? Sorry, not what. Who is your favorite teacher you've ever had, and what school are they at?
Um, my favorite teacher, you know him best, Mr. Kelly.
Okay, okay.
Or the goat, you know what I'm saying? 8th grade, middle school teacher, social studies.
Yeah.
Funniest guy you'll ever meet in your entire life, for sure. And he's also he's that teacher where he can be funny, and he has that other side to where he knows when it's time to get to work and get to business.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about earlier, like the effort. Like that is the teacher who's he's gonna make you want to come back to his class, because
Oh yeah,
like he's not just giving you papers. He's showing how like the history was like, I don't know how to explain it, but like how we relate to that history and why it's so important for us to know this. And like he wouldn't just like give us a textbook or a notebook. He would like Dawson said, he would joke with us. He would find ways for the kids who like don't learn best from like notes and stuff. He would find a way for them to learn and benefit from his class.
yeah. I like how in his class
Yeah.
he'll use games as idea to teach. Like he'll see like if you know like at a certain point, I like teachers that do that. Like they'll eventually every once in a while do a game where you're at, because a lot of kids are very competitive and hate losing. So like when you put them in a game scenario, they're gonna try their hardest to remember, and they're gonna try their hardest to learn in that scenario.
Yeah, and like I would even consider him like I don't even consider him like a teacher. I consider him like a friend. Like we bought him, my class bought him like a pair of shoes for Christmas, and it's like that teacher was so impactful to so many people, and like he's moving schools. If you didn't know that, he's going
Oh yeah.
to
Oh, he's going to somewhere national, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, that's what I heard because of the wit and wisdom.
because the school system is trying to control his way he teaches.
Yeah,
I, I talked to him because like one time he joked about my house and I had a conversation. It was like the school board is trying to put them in wit and wisdom, and it has to go by a certain plan. When in all honesty, when we got his TCAP test scores back, he said we had one of the top scores as a class in the county. I'm pretty sure we were second or third in the county. So if you can see him and he say he's obviously and he's obviously doing a good job. And I remember he talked to him where he said we could have been second, but the kids that don't really care. But if you get a teacher that is doing good on the own way they're teaching and it's worked consistently, watch how to put them on a certain way that you can see that in English. Not a lot of people like English because you're in a certain time frame, you're in a certain small agenda, and it stresses people out. Like that's not a good way to try to teach kids a subject.
yeah. Now we're talking about it. Did you like wit and wisdom when we had it in English?
No,
Why?
too controlling. They put us in a scenario where we're not having fun. We're every day like I understand like yes, you're going to school to learn, but there's also to an extent to where if you're punching me in my like punching me in like to remember and remember and remember, and you know I have three other classes that I have to study for. It's very agitating, stressful on some kids. Like puts kids into very hardcore stress. It's just not very it's not. I don't think it's giving as good results.
Yeah, I don't really understand the point of English, to be quite frank with you, because like the wit and wisdom, they had us read a book. Okay, so we read this book, and then we had this like folder almost, and it had like questions and random stuff about it, and like we'd write like poetry, we had to make PowerPoints and slides, and we had to do class presentations. I don't understand the point of that because I know how to read. I know how to speak English. I can write you a paragraph. But it's just like I feel like English isn't. You're not learning anything in that class. You're more of just like applying those skills to get a grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I feel like some. All right, so yes, some of the stuff that we use in that class we will use in the future, but there's also some stuff that we do that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, I feel that. Um, this is gonna be like a big topic that like a lot of people have a debate with themselves and their parents and stuff like that. And this is like further than high school. This also applies to college. Um,
Mhm.
is school a waste of time?
To a certain extent, I feel like okay, you get through middle. I think when you get to middle school, you're down to the basics. You learn the basic of just about each subject, and I think at that point you need to learn like you need to start heading it away. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I hate the fact that kids will stress over their math class that they have for a GPA when at the end of the day that's not something that they want to deal with in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like you punch kids with math at the end of the day, but in their future they want to be a writer or like they want to be an author. I feel like once they get to a certain age, stop giving them punching them with four subjects and let them drift off in their own direction
Yeah.
and giving them the option to like go where they want to go. And that's where college is so good because yes, they do give you the other classes, but it's minimal classes. You have you're not doing as much if that's not your major. Like if you want to do something, they'll let you focus in that class more than the others.
I'm gonna say this. I don't know if people are gonna agree with me, but I feel like college and or high school, depending on the class you take, is not about education. I feel like it's more of just doing your chores. Elon Musk actually said that exact thing. I just quoted him. Um, because if you want to learn something, you can learn it off Google. You can find other ways to learn that's not in a school. And just like you said, like through middle school, like that's everything that you need to learn as like a person. You know what I mean? Like you need to know how to count, you need to know how to write your name, stuff like that. But like in high school, like we got to choose where we went with our classes. So we got to choose if we want to study health, like medical, if we want to study athletics, if we want to study stuff with numbers like an accountant or something, or if we want to go down the history path and be a teacher, or if we want to be like an historian or whatever, any type of job like that. And we got to choose where we go from there. But at the same time, like you said, if I want to be a medical, athletic trainer, that's what I'm thinking about being. Why do I need to take a AP social world history class? What is that gonna affect me in my medical field if I'm trying to go down that path? And I feel like the whole point of high school is to set you up for later down in your life, but I feel like we need more control of what we're actually doing.
Yep, yep.
Well, we can talk about sports, okay? Basketball season. What? Go.
But I have a question for your future intendant. As you know what I'm saying, football is over.
Yep.
You're losing a big senior class for White House. We're losing a big senior class.
30.
And that's a lot of schools are losing their seniors. Do you feel that next year your school can move forward without those starting seniors because these other players haven't got as much time on the field and much time to prep for what they're coming up in the next season?
Well, our class, like the freshman class, I feel like we got an advantage on the other classes. We started lifting earlier. We had a great head coach. What's his coach Mac's name?
Right.
What's his first name? Shane McDonald. There you go. Shane McDonald was our head coach at middle school, and a lot of the other classes above us did not get him. He was a very good coach, and I feel like us as a class, when hard times, like that's what I love about our class. When we face hard times, we don't split up. Every time things get harder, we turn our back with each other. Like we come close to each other and we support on each other. And like through COVID, through losing family members, through all this stuff, instead of splitting up like most teams would. Like my 7th grade year, we all split. Like the linemen split, the halfbacks, quarterbacks, and like we just played awful because like we weren't together. But I feel like this class, when things get super super hard, we just turn each other and we support each other. So I feel like when it comes game time and summertime, we're gonna constantly push forward and constantly try to be the best that we can be just for one another.
I think what our class has that a lot of other classes doesn't is that yes, we want to get better ourselves, but we always are pushing our teammates to the best extent. We won't ever let them slack off to not get better to a certain point. Like you see somebody, we're running sprints, and you see somebody jogging. You're like, I know you can do better. Like I know you're faster than this. I know you're tired, but I want you to push through this because I know what you're capable of.
I could have said it better. It's just like we like not even just our class above us. We have a love for each other, and we have such a strong connection that like even if like you're not gonna play and we know you're not gonna play, I still want you to go 110% because like what if your name's called? Like what if something happens and you're up? Like you need to be ready
Yeah,
and like I don't know. I just feel like the White House program really does shape you, and that's why we have family written everywhere that we like everywhere, and don't let your people down, and swing the axe and get back to the wall. I feel like that's all sayings that like Coach Hammy, like he knew coming in his first year that it was gonna be rough because their coach just left them and they left them out to dry. Because I had that feeling, and going into 8th grade when Coach Wise left us, and like we felt like abandoned almost, like we weren't enough for him. And I feel like that senior class went through so much together, and Coach Hammy just said, "Trust me, and join on. I promise I'll take you somewhere," and he did.
what I love about our team so much is that I kind of use my story as this. I came into the year. I wasn't looked down upon, but I was like newer kind of to the team again. Uh, so when I came in, I was not really getting much time to like practice. You know what I'm saying? I was just showing up kind of. But what I love about our school so much is that you have equal opportunities to get better. Like if you're there running defense, you can no matter what, you can always run out there and try to get a spot, play offense. You always have an opportunity, like what I was saying, attitude and effort. If you want to, you can. Like coaches aren't stopping you; they will put you in there. Like they'll let you do that. And that's where the second half of my season, where I really turned up and I actually got the opportunity to show coaches what I was capable of. I showed them that I'm more than just a bit like I'm more than just a freshman, like I have worth and I have like significance and I could have a bright future for the game of football.
I want to go back to what you said. You said a word, and that's what we started the podcast with, and it was effort. I feel like that word effort and what it means is everything. Like anything you do in your life, if you put an effort, like you're never gonna be the best. There's always gonna be somebody better than you, bigger than you, stronger, faster. Like they're gonna be better at what you love to do. That's how life works. But if you give effort and you give everything you have consistently every time, you're gonna either outwork them or you're gonna compete with them just by the fact that you don't stop. It's hard to stop somebody who doesn't stop. You know what I mean?
Felt like that's where the biggest saying comes into play, and I feel like this is a very you don't hear it as much anymore, but it's such an impactful saying where hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You can have the raw skill, you can be so good at something, but if there is somebody that is wants it more than you, that they're fighting for it more than you, they're doing it more than you are, at the end of the day, your talent isn't gonna outwork somebody that wants it more than you.
Facts. And it's like football, you have to make it personal. You have to like if you want to be the best, you have to make it personal. You have to be like the guy in front of me, the guy in the other color jersey. Like they have a family and they're trying to represent their family, and you're trying to represent yours. And it's just like you have to want to be better than the guy in front of you, just because of like where they're from and what team they're on. You know what I mean?
I feel like what one thing about football that a lot of other sports are that you don't see unless like other than basketball and like soccer and stuff like that. team sports, a lot of teams like don't realize so early into the season. Like as freshmen, like you were saying, like we had such a strong bond. We were so close with each other. A lot of teams struggle with that because they so self-centered on what they're good at. You could have 12, you could have 11 of the best athletes on the field, but if y'all don't know how to work together and help each other out, you're destined for loss.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just like something about going through the White House program, and I don't know how they do it, and I'm gonna assume they purposely do it, but they find ways to punish us together, to like to let us like enjoy and just like chill with each other. They find ways to get us around each other, so that like when those hard times come, when the good times come, that we're constantly sticking together. And it's not like we're perfect. It's not like we're always on the same side. That like we're always not fighting, because like we do still fight, because that's how that works. But I just feel like football, like not even just White House, just the game of football you're able to bring so many strangers that probably may have not ever spoke, and bring them together to like unison.
I feel like football is the best class you can ever take. It's getting into football, even if you're not the starting player on the field, you still learn so much from just being on the team itself. Like you just showing up and putting in that effort. You hear coach here, you hear like coach. He's talking about like God, like you have so many. Like you hear somebody, like a lot of kids don't hear that at home. Coach will tell them, "I'm proud of you." Like a lot of people don't hear that,
Yeah.
or you have so much potential. You have so much you can do, and that pushes kids. That pushes kids to want to be greater. And I think that itself is so much more important than winning. And that's what Coach Hemi is so good about. He's so good about preparing you for your future more than he is winning games. Like, don't get me wrong, he loves winning games. Like, he gets hyped up. But the lessons that you learn from football are so much more important.
Yeah, and the whole point of this podcast is to just kind of shed, like, have fun, obviously, but like I named it the light bulb, because what does a light bulb do? When you give energy into it, it illuminates the area around it, right? And that's what I'm trying to get out of this is like we have voices, right? We have opinions, and when we are able to have a platform to share that on, hopefully we can illuminate the power around it, the area around it. And I feel like today's episode, to sum it up, effort, right? Effort only fully releases its reward after a person refuses to quit. Because effort, you have to constantly, every day, not give up. You have to be, what's that word? Not perseverance. There you go. Yeah, there you go. You have to persevere every day to not stop, because it's just, I don't know how to explain it. Everything you do in your life, you're gonna use effort. You're gonna have to have some type of effort to continue to go through the hard times, the bad times, whatever happens, and to constantly fight through it.
Yeah.
We're about 28 minutes now, and I think that's gonna call it a wrap today. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe, like, drop a comment for the next video. If you're on Spotify, share with anybody you know, or YouTube, share it. Thanks for joining in, Dawson.
Yeah, well, anytime, man.